Welcome to the Lost Together podcast. I'm Joe, and this is still my attempt to convince Morgan that Lost is one of the greatest television shows ever written, produced, acted in, shot in Hawaii, and tragically cutting characters out of the arc, from 20 years ago now. So today we're going to talk again about 2 episodes. We found that this is a really comfortable kind of pace for us since we're really only able to shoot once a week. We get Monday through Thursdays are just unimaginably busy from the time that we wake up till the time we're ready to go to bed. And then, Fridays are typically pretty good, but this last Friday, your boy knocked out super early. And so here we are on a
Literally
Sunday.
8 o'clock. He fell asleep face down on the bed with his shoes still on. And he didn't wake up ever.
I don't know what to tell you. I get up early. If it weren't for Morgan, I'd go to bed at that time probably every night. Like, the kids would go to bed, I'd go to bed. Like, if
Pap-all stuff. You're not that old.
Yeah, but I felt great yesterday. I got up early still. Like, I woke up at 4:30. So I went to bed at 8, woke up at 4:30. So it's 8.5 hours. And I just felt incredible. It was a great day.
I'm so happy for you.
So, anyway, speaking of that, we did watch 2 episodes. We're going to discuss them today. And we're going to talk about, first, The Cost of Living, which is the 5th episode of the 3rd season of Lost. It originally aired on November 1st, 2006.
Yeah, and I'm not happy about it.
Obviously, if you are listening to this podcast, you are almost certainly a Lostie. But, if you happen to be watching this podcast and, you, like Morgan, had not seen the series before, spoiler alert for character death, but this is the death of Mr. Echo, our beloved Season 2 character.
I am so upset. There was no good reason. And the way that he went out, murdered by his faith.
I'm not even going to begin to try to pronounce the actor's name. I think his first name's Adewale, and he had requested to be written off. So I don't know if it was the shooting schedule or he had something else going on, but he had requested at the end of season 2 to be written off. So they had this in the cards from the beginning of season 3.
Well, I hate that. I hate that very much.
So, general thoughts before we get into the recap?
It was good. Obviously, I'm pissed off that Mr. Echo's dead. I'm very not happy about that. But, such is life on the island. But, yeah, interesting developments with Ben, all that stuff. So,
yeah. We will get right into that. Let's just go ahead and do the recap, and then we will follow up on the back end. So, take it away.
Yep, so we start out with a little bit of backstory on Mr. Echo. This is after Yemi has been shot and they're in the plane. Yemi and those 2 other guys are flying, out of the country. They're taking the heroin and the Jesus statues out of the country. So everybody thinks that Echo is, the new priest. But I found that's, a little plot hole, possibly, probably. Echo has come to that village multiple times. And he talks to Yemi. And Yemi, they're, hello, brother, all that. But then Amina's like, are you the new priest? Do you not recognize him? You've seen him before.
Well,
he had the braids or whatever, but still.
Hold on.
Because she doesn't know who he is. She's like, are you the new priest? She's not like, hey, Echo, what are you doing here? You're not a priest. So I had to,
Well, so my thought is that, Daniel is the son's name. So maybe Daniel wasn't an altar boy in perpetuity. Maybe he was a relatively new altar boy.
Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm talking about.
But it does, because that's how Echo would have shown himself to them, as he would have been in the church seeing Yemi, right? But if they're new to the church and Daniel's a new altar boy, how would they have seen Echo before?
Because Echo has come to the church before to visit Yemi.
Honey, I literally I'm going to say it again. So they're new to the church.
She is established.
It doesn't say that.
It's implied.
It doesn't say that. And it does say that Daniel is announced. So Echo announces to the altar boy and his mother. So
yeah, that he's taking Yemi's place and he's going to go to London.
I think it's easy enough explained. Like,
I was like, oh, I gotcha.
Goodness knows that because I went to a number of different churches when I was a kid. I know there's only one in this village, but
right.
But also, I hate to say it like this, but it's a war-torn village, so maybe they keep running out of altar boys for some reason. Like, maybe they get recruited into child soldierdom like Echo did,
Yeah.
It's possible, and then so they just got this new altar boy. Possible plot hole, I'll give you that.
Yep.
But I don't think there's evidence that it's a definite plot hole.
Yeah, but anyway, these guys show up. The dude had like a suspiciously French-sounding accent, I thought. The head guy with the militia. He comes in and he's, who's the new priest? And Echo is just standing there. And the guy says, you better tell your priest about our arrangement. And I hope, Father, that you'll honor it. So the Amina comes up and says, like, we get, polio vaccines?
Yes.
Or some kind of vaccine. And they get to keep 20%. And then the other 80% goes to the guy and his cronies or whatever, and they sell the vaccines on the black market. So Echo goes, I'm not afraid of you. And then the guy doesn't say anything, he just pulls out a gun and shoots some lady. And then he's like, next time I see you, Father, I hope you have those vaccines. You don't want any more lives on your conscience. And I was like, ooh, spooky.
So just as a note, I looked it up because of the French accent. So Nigeria was originally, when Africa was colonized by the British. But then immediately it is surrounded on all sides by French colonies. So,
Okay, so he really was French.
Well, it's just probably like a French influence, like the same way where if you meet somebody from Louisiana and their accent sounds French adjacent, it's just because the French colonized Louisiana here, And so probably similar to that, but
yeah,
makes sense.
So anyway, Echo's like, F that. He's going to take all the vaccines and he's going to sell them on the black market because he's planning to like leave the country. Somehow or another, the dudes find out about that. So they show back up at the church and they are going to kill Echo. No, they're not, because the head guy, he has up his big machete and he goes like, I'm a superstitious man, so I don't relish in taking the life of a holy man, so instead I'm just going to cut off your hands. And Echo's like, psych, and he kills all three of them in the church.
Echo's like, no, you ain't.
Yeah, he's like, good luck. Yeah. So Amina freaks out and they board the church up and she's like, the church has been desecrated, like, I can't believe you would do this to Yemi's legacy, and like, you owe Yemi one church. And is that why he's building the church on the island?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, beautiful, love that, good for him.
For his brother.
Yeah, and was that before he found Yemi's body that he started building the church?
Yes.
So sweet.
So he didn't just decide to do it because he found his brother's dead body. He was like, I already owe you this.
Yeah, so very cute. So that's that. So then back on the island, Echo got his shit rocked by that polar bear. He's very ill. He's like mangled. I thought he was going to die then. But they've got him in a hut on the beach, and he's laying there. He's delirious, whatever. He wakes up, and Yemi is standing in the tent with a lighter, and he goes, "You know where to find me?" Beak! And throws that lighter down and burns up the friggin' hut with Echo in it. So Echo takes off. John and Desmond and Hurley and Saeed and all them. Well, was Saeed there? Have they got back? Yeah, are they back from the boat yet? Saeed and Jen and Son?
I don't remember Saeed.
Okay, I guess Saeed wasn't there. Anyway.
Well, yeah, he is there. He's there.
When did they get back?
Earlier?
I don't remember.
We watched these episodes too far apart. Okay.
I don't remember. Anyway, Charlie pulls Echo out of the tent. Echo absconds. Or elopes. Or whatever.
Absconds.
Is it absconds?
Leaves?
Yeah.
Is that what you're going for?
Yeah.
Leaves. Absconds, yeah.
Okay. So, Locke's like walking around, and it's very commune. He's packing up his little backpack with his little fruits and stuff, and he goes like, anybody that wants to come along can come. Hurley's like, well, Jack would take like Kate and Saeed and whatever, and Locke's like, I'm not Jack. So he's loving that unbridled leadership role that he's found now that Jack's gone. So some rando girl and that guy that you pointed out last time that I don't remember who.
Icky Impala.
Yeah, and he's who?
He was the actor that played Xerxes in 300.
Xerxes, that's what it was, yeah. Which, funny.
Come and reason with me, Leonidas.
You made me bleed. Like, he gets that earring ripped out of his ear. What? That's a great movie. But anyway, Desmond's like, well, how do you know where... Locke tells Saeed, hey, we're going to go find that computer, get your shit ready. And Saeed's like, what are you talking about? Like, where are we going? Are we not going to go find Echo? And Locke goes, we're all going to the same place. So sure enough, they find Echo because they're going to where the plane was because the plane landed right on top of the Pearl.
Yep.
So on his travels, Echo is really not doing well. I mean, I can't believe he's getting around as well as he is. Ugh, he picks up a big old handful of mud and puts it on that open wound on his side. Brother, you're going to get worms. But I guess he didn't have to worry about that. So they find each other. They all go to... no, that's later. Everybody else goes inside the Pearl, and Echo stays with the plane. He's looking for Yemi and all that. They can't find him. Yemi's body's gone. And Locke's like, well, I mean, you burned it. And then also there's animals and all this. Also, I found your necklace. And he gives Locke his necklace, the cross necklace back. Mm-hmm. So nice. So while they're down in the hatch, they figure out how to turn the TVs on. And there's a dude with an eye patch. And he like gets real close to the camera and then he reaches up and turns it off. And so Locke goes, oh, he's going to be expecting us. So, woohoo, we have another mystery, another person to chase. So, Echo ends up seeing Yemi, traipses through the woods following him. Yemi's like, it's time to confess. It's time to confess, brother. And Echo's like, I just did what I had to do to survive. I'm not sorry. When I was a boy, I killed a man to save my brother's life, and I'm not sorry for that, and, whatever. And Yemi goes, you speak to me as if I'm your brother. I was like, Yemi. I know he's pissed. So Echo's like, who are you? Who are you? He chases after him into the woods, and you hear that familiar sound of cicadas, and here comes the smoke monster. Oh, yeah, when he was at the river getting a drink, when he put the wormy mud on him, he saw the smoke monster in the reflection, so it was following him. But yeah, that smoke monster beat his ass and killed him.
Yeah.
Sling him around like a rag doll.
Yeah.
Of course, they find him right before he dies. Locke's down there, and you can see Echo mouthing some words, and then, of course, he dies. And Saeed's like, what did he say? And John says, he said we're next. Dun, dun, dun. So that was very sad. So on the Hydra Island, basically what has gone down is, was it when he went to do surgery on Colleen?
Yeah,
or whatever?
he saw the
X-rays. Jack saw X-rays up on the thing, and like as an audience, you only catch a glimpse of it. And probably a person with a trained eye would have looked at that and said, that was fine with a tumor on it. But, we didn't, of course. So, so Ben invites Jack to come to Colleen's memorial. And he hands him these, like, weird white... It looks like a rich guy at a resort outfit, like white linen, big shirt with big
It
pants.
does. It did put me in the mind of resort outfit.
Yeah.
Resort chic.
So they go to the beach, and they've got like a Viking style funeral planned for Colleen. They put her out and they light the thing. And Greg had said that we should be paying attention to cinematography and music, and so they were playing "I Wonder," which is a song I've never heard before. And I just wonder, I don't understand the significance of that song choice.
What was the song again?
I Wonder.
Who's it by?
I don't know. I just remember the title of the song.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so Jack goes on this, when he got invited to the beach, Ben walks in and Jack goes, "So does it hurt?" And Ben's like, "I don't know what you mean." And Jack's like, "Your neck, does it hurt?" Ben's like, "Why would that?" And Jack goes on this cold ass tirade about
how your finger's going to start to go numb.
Yep.
It's going to kill you.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And unless those X-rays were taken really recently, like you should have been in surgery yesterday. Like you got, in about a week you're not going to be able to walk. And Ben was like, and Jack was like, "Yeah, I just wanted you to, know how you were going to die."
Well,
So,
and the interesting thing there is just you don't even know as the viewer if Jack has been serious.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember that when Sawyer had all those headaches and he was asking him questions about whether he had been with a bunch of prostitutes or whatever, and like Jack is not above using his medical knowledge in totally unethical ways on this island.
Oh, yeah.
Like he could very well be lying to Ben. He could be like, "Oh, it's a tumor and it's bad, but like you've got a while," or whatever.
And then you just let him die.
But then,
just let him die.
Well, as we'll see.
Yeah. So then Ben comes in the next day and he's like, "If it weren't for you meddling kids, you foiled my perfect plan." He had a perfect plan to convince Jack to do the surgery. And Jack was like, "Why in the hell would I do this for you? Like, why would I do this?" And Ben was like, "Well, I'll get you to go home. Also, I want you to want to do my surgery." You're weak. That's weak.
Well, that's like the old I want you to want to do the dishes or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is like,
I want you to do it because it matters to you, not because I need it done.
But Ben wants that because he wants the surgery to go well. So he wants that because he wants, which is kind of irrelevant if you think about it, because a surgeon, I mean, he needs to not hate you or whatever, but surgeons don't even know people that they operate on.
No,
there's
some anonymity with that. It's just a body. They're just dealing with a body. But anyway, he was like, "Yeah, you saw my X-rays and screwed everything up, so, here we are." And Juliet ends up bringing in a TV, and she's like, "Hey, I got you a movie." And Jack's like, "I don't want to watch a damn movie." And she's like, "Fine, then I'll turn the sound down." And she puts it right up to the thing.
Do you remember the movie she said it was?
No.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, that's really good. So she turns it on, and she goes on this big speech about how Ben is a great man, and please reconsider, and we love him, and blah, blah, blah. But on the screen, it's her, and she's holding up. It reminded me of in the early 2000s, you remember people would tell their stories with their little postcards. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's what it reminded me of. But she's like, Ben is super dangerous. Like, let's make it look like an accident, whatever. And I'll protect you if there's an accident in the surgery, I'll protect you, whatever. So that's exactly what he does. That is exactly what he does, which we don't find out till the next episode, of course, but I didn't think he was going to go through with it.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
Well, so what'd you think about this episode overall?
I thought it was good. A lot of interesting stuff happening.
So, I wanted to talk about the thing that I always want to talk about when this comes up. So, it's never an accident when you see a piece of art inside of a piece of art. They could have picked any movie, and they picked To Kill a Mockingbird. So, why would they pick To Kill a Mockingbird? for that particular scene.
Well, I mean, I've never read the book, but I've seen the movie many times.
The movie is one of the best adaptations of a book to a movie ever. So it's very faithful to the source material.
So good. You know, they're in an institution where things are supposed to be done right, and they're supposed to be getting help and all this, and Nurse Ratched is...
You're thinking of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I knew it was Bird. I knew there was a bird in there somewhere. Okay, then I don't know shit about To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird is the Atticus Finch novel where he's defending a black man who's accused of SA and of a woman. Mm-hmm. And it's basically, the book is about prejudice, but it's also about justice and law and mercy. But the title of To Kill a Mockingbird comes from a line that Atticus Finch says, it's a sin to kill a mockingbird because mockingbirds are innocent creatures who only sing and do no harm. I think it's interesting to choose To Kill a Mockingbird there, because it's literally a trial where they're trying to determine whether or not to put somebody to death. And in the next episode, Jack is going to literally have Ben's life in his hands. So it's not an accident that they picked To Kill a Mockingbird. Could have picked anything. So there's that. I was curious about Mr. Echo's total arc. So he's gone now, Mr. Echo. I actually looked it up because I didn't know before literally this moment. But the reason that he asked to be written off the show is because the actor's parents died.
Oh.
And he...
That's awful.
Yeah, he moved back home because he was grieving, and he took a break for a couple of years from acting.
Aww.
Didn't do anything. So
bless him.
He was actually originally intended to be a very important part of the show. He was going to be a kind of yin to the yang for Locke. Like the other side of... Because I think that really would have been interesting, because as you're kind of seeing, there's a lot of protagonists in the show, but Locke's one of the main protagonists. And if you think about how good that could have been, because you have Locke in the center, and then you have Jack, who's a foil for Locke because of the, like, science versus faith thing. But then Echo as a foil for Locke in, like, faith. Like, different faiths can be at odds with each other. So not just rationality and faith, but different faiths can have different interpretations. And that happened, you know, already in the show.
Yeah, with the
Echo and
at the
Locke.
hatch. I mean,
Yeah. Exactly. So it's a shame that it didn't go forward, but...
Yeah, I really loved his character.
And the actor was, so great in this.
Fantastic.
Very, very, very good actor. I only know him from American Gangster, and he was also Killer Croc in that horrible Suicide Squad movie.
I wouldn't even
talk
about this.
The bad one. Right.
Yeah, the one with Jared Leto.
Yeah. Real bad.
It was.
Anyway, so I don't really have much to add to this episode, because the Echo thing was sad, but I just remember watching, this episode and getting... I think I probably watched 8 or 9 episodes a day or something. I was just taking days off work and watching them because I really wanted to know what was going to happen with the others, and Ben and all that. And just immediately drawn to that character. I think Mr. Michael Emerson just does a fantastic job. But I thought it was interesting too that in this episode, it's the first time you kind of see Ben on his heels a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, there's some vulnerability there. Fear.
Yeah, fear. And it's he is used to being in control, and that's that, like, I want you to want to do it. So it's like he not only does he want to control whether Jack does the surgery,
he wants to control how he feels about it.
He wants to control how he feels about the surgery. And we were actually...
That's a toxic relationship.
We were just talking last night about something unrelated, that, like, one of the things that is the least controllable on the planet in terms of your own personal experience is other people's feelings. Like, I have a sense that you have a better control of the weather than other people's feelings. And so this is entirely unreasonable on Ben's part. Like, he is, really going the wrong way here. But to see Jack explaining to him, like, oh, look,
yeah,
you're getting numb, and like,
terrible, what things that are going to happen to him. And then he's like, I never said I was going to do the surgery. Why the hell would I do the surgery?
Right.
Yeah, because Ben was like, I'm ready. Look, I'm ready. And Jack's like, for what?
Which is funny because, it's an interesting choice because if I were Ben and I wanted the surgery done, it's as easy to me as going outside and grabbing Kate and
That's what I'm saying.
And putting a gun to her head and saying, hey, you better hope the surgery works out, buddy. Like,
yeah.
Because I got nothing to live for other than this. So, like, if you don't do it and make this good, right, make this right, like, we're blowing her brains out and we're going to make sure you live to remember it.
And, like, at this point, his whole plan is fucked. So, really, why doesn't he do that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he believing that he can still manipulate Jack?
But that's the other question. Is his plan fucked?
Well, I don't know.
So,
I mean, that he knows that Jack is a spinal surgeon. You can't be a stupid spinal surgeon.
No, but you can be manipulated, and he has already manipulated Jack. He's manipulated the entire other group.
Yeah.
Like, he is, if there is a thing that he is good at, it's manipulation.
Yeah, but I mean, he knew those damn x-rays were up there.
Well, and I'll give you a thing to think about as you kind of watch episodes of, because I think it's coming up. It's in an episode not too long from now. I won't tell you who says it as a spoiler, but somebody's talking about him and says, he makes you think it's your idea, but it's his.
Yeah, that's what Juliet was saying.
Yeah, so somebody else says it that I'm a specific person I'm thinking about, but so is the plan fucked, or did he actually intend for Jack to organically discover those X-rays hanging up?
I don't know.
I don't know. Think about.
Yeah. I think that the choice to have Echo, because Echo could have died, he could have died from his wounds. Like, he could have died anyway, and they had the smoke monster kill him. Is that supposed to be, like, killed by your faith? Like, because, that's what the smoke monster is like the god of the island or whatever. And God killed Echo.
Oh, is he?
Is
he?
Well, I mean, that's what Locke thinks. And it sounds just like cicadas. Every time I hear it, it makes me think about being a kid in the summertime at my Mimi's house.
It reminds me of a roller coaster ticking up
it's too
the
fast.
first hill. Do you remember the Intimidator?
Yeah.
That's the one it reminds me of.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it reminds me of cicadas.
Actually, what it is an accounting calculator.
Which...
Yeah.
Is that on purpose?
Yeah, it's the accounting calculator that Locke was using in season 1.
Oh.
Yeah. It's that sound over and over again.
Yeah, but why?
They wanted to give it a kind of mechanical sound, which would be revealed later.
So it's not some kind of layered, like, oh, it's going to blow my mind when I figure out what the smoke monster is, and like, oh, that's why it was accounting tape.
I think it'll blow your mind when you figure out what the smoke monster is, but not for the accounting tape. But that won't have anything to do with it. That's just the sound they picked for it. But the smoke monster is probably the greatest mystery of the island.
Yeah, I'd really like to know what the hell's up with that thing. Because now we know it is dense enough to pick up a human body and sling them around like a damn rag doll. Whereas before, you just believe it to be this poof of smoke with electricity and shit in there, and it'll give you flashbacks of your own life or whatever.
Well, the only thing I'll say about the smoke monster is that it's doing a heck of a lot more than throwing people around. And also, you won't get to know what it is for a long time. So,
okay.
Because I think I've told you that there's themes.
Yes.
For each season. We're in the theme of the others right now. And the smoke monster is not until season 6.
Oh, okay.
So
quite a while.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But I think it's really great when you get to learn about it. So anyway, moving on. We're now going to go to season 3, episode 6, I Do.
I don't think if you'd have asked me, like, the next episode is called I Do, who do you think it's about? I think I would have guessed Jen and Son. I would not have guessed Kate.
Yeah, well, with good reason. It was the 6th episode of the 3rd season and the 55th episode overall, and originally aired on November 8th, 2006. So I want to just jump straight into the recap for this one because I've got feelings about this episode. In transparency, it's one of my least favorite of this season.
Oh, well, there was some interesting stuff happening in this episode.
Yeah, that's part of why I didn't like it. So let's go on and get into the recap.
All right. So it opens with, I don't know who the hell told production that hairstyle that Kate had was a good move. That was the worst. That flippy, choppy.
Well, there's actually a pretty common critique of Lost. It's one of the biggest critiques I've heard, is that they are abysmal at wigs.
God
so
almighty.
You remember Locke's hair?
Yeah.
When he had hair? I mean...
It's really bad.
Awful.
That was one of the worst hairstyles ever.
Just imagine me having that hairstyle. Like a bald guy, and I put that wig on. I'm like, yep, this is totally my hair.
And stick it on there.
Right, grew just like this.
She's walking down a hallway at a hotel, and she's, in her little cutesy little outfit with her little shopping bag. But God, that hair, woof. She goes in the hotel room and pulls out, it looks like a designer shopping bag, pulls out a big box. She's about to open it, and then there's banging on the door, and they're like, police! And she's like, I'm not home, or whatever. So it turns out it's a guy named Kevin, and she's about to get married in 12 hours. Why the hell I guess she didn't have anywhere else to go, but why is she at a hotel 12 hours before her wedding? Very strange.
So that he doesn't see her.
Yeah, but why didn't she go be with her mother-in-law or something so she could help her get dressed?
I think it's just the novelty of it, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe she doesn't like her mother-in-law. I know that's weird, but most people love their mother-in-laws.
Well, the next frame, Kate is in her dress and she's getting ready and whatever, and then Kevin's mom comes in and she's like, you look beautiful. Kate's like, mother-in-laws aren't supposed to be so nice. So she likes her mother-in-law. And then Kevin's mother gives her this golden locket, and she's like, this is a heirloom. My mother gave it to me on my wedding day, and I was going to give it to my daughter on her wedding day, but I had boys, so here you go. And she puts it on Kate, and I was like, she is not going to steal that necklace. Kate is deplorable, but that would be evil. So I was like, please don't. But, so yeah, they actually get married. I was like, what the hell? That is crazy. They get married for real. Mm-hmm. And I think she actually loves him.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think she really loves him, and they're really happy. And the guy is very familiar. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. And
Castle was the main show.
Castle.
He was in that show Firefly. That's it's legendary in sci-fi circles, and only had one season. And
he's been in a lot of shit.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's at the grocery store, so she doesn't have a job, I guess. I know this is early 2000s, but he's a police officer.
Yeah.
How do they have?
I think it's just
one income family. Hello.
I think they didn't pay a lot of attention to that.
I guess, but I was like,
I think they just wanted
they had a nice house.
They just wanted to show domesticity. Yes. Maybe he inherited it or something.
Maybe I'm just a point.
Yeah.
But she's in the grocery store.
I agree, by the way. That's dumb.
Yeah, she's in the grocery store, and they have a fun, cutesy little romantic convo about having taco night and whatever. So she leaves the grocery store and runs to a payphone and talks to the marshal, and he's like, what are you doing? And Kate's like, listen, I really love this guy. Oh, she takes out a timer and sets it on top of the...
Because she knows that's how long it takes to trace the call.
Yeah, to trace the call. I was like, clever. So she's like, listen, I really love this guy. I'm happy. I got a good thing going on. Please leave me alone. And Mars is like, what are you... you're not ever... You know what? I'll make you a deal. If you settle your crazy ass down, I will stop chasing you. And Kate's like, fine, bink, and hangs up. And then, of course, takes...
Well, he says we both know you won't.
Yeah, and she, gives one of her signature Kate, sad, forlorn looks and hangs up. So the next thing is Kate taking a pregnancy test, and it was negative, thank God. And she, cries and is so relieved, but also, like, super upset because she knows, like, she really can't do this. So she drugs that man. She drugs Kevin and tells him the whole truth. And he's like, Monica, what are you talking about? She's like, my name's not Monica. So, yeah, and she was like, I almost had a baby. I don't do taco night. Like, what? So he stands up and he's like, what did you do? She says, I drugged you because they're going to be asking you a lot of questions. But, like, I blew my dad up. I've been running from the law. I love you, sorry. So he passes out, and she puts that necklace back in his hand. And I was like, good on you, Kate. Good for you.
I like how the entire message of the flashback is like, hey, guys, Kate's a piece of shit, right? And that's like...
Well, she gave the necklace back.
Yeah, but she didn't need to get involved with him in the first place. And
she doesn't get to have love because she's a felon?
Well, if you're a runaway, why would you involve somebody? Especially
a police officer.
Yeah, somebody in law enforcement.
Yeah.
Why would you involve somebody?
Idiot.
Selfish.
So stupid.
Right? Like,
yeah.
And, also, better question, why'd you call the marshal, right? Do you have some reason to believe that he knows where you're at?
His number memorized? Like...
Kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like she's sabotaging it because she's happy. And like I've pointed out many times, these very flawed people recognize that they're starting to get happy and they go, oh, fuck that. I'm not supposed to be happy, right? I'm going to sabotage it. And so that's what she did. Yeah. She was happy. The taco night thing was like a red flag because it was domestic and it meant like
Yeah, she's like at the grocery store. I mean, I have had experiences like that before where I'm doing something like super domestic, mundane, like mom stuff, and I have like an out-of-body experience of like, holy shit, like, is this my life right now? Like, is this real life?
I have it about every fourth or fifth daddy that I hear from down the hallway, just like,
Daddy!
I'm like, what are we talking about? I'm a kid. Like,
I'm not a grown-up. I need an adult.
I'm not a grown-up. Somebody make this decision for me. My goodness.
Yeah. So, I can relate to that. I can relate to that whole, like, oh my God, what is happening? What am I doing?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's the flashback. Kate was a married woman. Oh, yeah. And he goes like, hey, remember that honeymoon we talked about? Get your passport. We're going to Costa Rica or whatever.
Yeah, it's oceanic.
And she's like, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, damn. Because if she was able to create a whole ass identity, I assume she's got a fake driver's license. She could have gotten a fake passport. You just pay a guy and you get a passport,
Yeah.
Call Saul Goodman. Nothing? Okay.
No, I was trying to think.
He gets them all fake passports.
I was thinking of Puerto Rico. Sorry. I was trying to think of which of those places you could go to down there without a passport. And you go to Puerto Rico.
Because it's part of America, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a province.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
They don't get a vote in Congress. So
it's wrong.
It is wrong.
Okay.
Go Puerto Rico.
So in the jungle, they're burying Echo, and Locke takes off, and doesn't really say very much. He's just kind of like, I'll be back. I'm going to go get the shovels. I'll be back. Saeed goes with him, and Locke does not want him to go with him.
Yeah.
And Saeed's like, he said, it's dangerous to go alone. And I was like, Zelda. Yeah, immediately. Zelda. So, they go, and then Saeed's like, so, like, are we really going to get shovels, or, like, what's your plan here? And Locke was like, yeah, we're going to get the shovels. We're just going to take a little detour. So Desmond, the blonde lady, and Xerxes are left standing at...
Nikki and Paolo.
Yeah, whatever. Left standing at Echo's grave. So they come back with his stick. John Locke went and found his stick. And I thought that was really nice. Because they were like, should we take him back to the beach? And I was like, LOL, he's huge. How the hell would y'all carry that man dead weight through the woods? No, but Locke was like, there's been too many funerals lately. Like, we'll just bury him here. It's fine. So Saeed, when they went to get the shovels, Saeed was like, so what do you think really happened to him? What do you think killed him? And Locke just comes right out and says it, like, everybody calls it the monster, but I don't really know what to call it. But, it it's important, and Echo died for a reason. I just don't know what the reason is yet. So he's given like a short eulogy, and he's like, you know, you always had this stick with you, and it fell out of a tree and hit my head, and so it just didn't feel right to bury you without it, so here's your stick. And he looks down at it, and it says, lift up your eyes and look north, John 3:05, which is a Bible verse, but also a direction from beyond the grave. Posthumous.
John 3:05.
John 3:05.
Verily, verily, I say unto thee, unless a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God.
Surely Echo went to heaven.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it's referencing.
I don't know. So back at Hydra, Jack and Juliet are in the tank or whatever, and they're having a fun little chat, and Ben walks in, and he's like, hey, Juliet, get out. And Jack says, oh, I don't mind that she's here. I don't care that she's here. And Ben said, well, I'm thrilled to hear that, but she needs to get out. And I thought that was funny. He goes, doctor-patient confidentiality? So then he's like, okay, yeah, you got me. Those were my x-rays. So I'm going to need your help here. And Jack's like, yeah, you got about a week before that bad boy is inoperable. And you will die from that. And Ben's like, listen, I really need you to help me. So then Jack is he's like, why the hell would I do that? I don't trust any of you. Like, I'm not going to help you. I'm not doing it. So here comes Kate's ass. And, you know, this is the first time they've seen each other, her and Jack. So he's like, did they hurt you? Like, what's going on? Are you okay? And of course she's sobbing. And because I think at this moment, have they got the gun to Sawyer's head, about to kill him?
They have threatened it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
It's true. No, that's at the end of the episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So she's like, she just comes right out and says it like, well, she tells him they're making us work. We're busting up rocks. And then she goes, you got to do the surgery. And Jack's like, what'd they give you?
Yeah.
He went from like being nervous and caring and, you know, dialed in to then immediately like, all right, sorry, Mr. Doctor, that you're getting pressured to do doctor shit.
Yeah, but he gets indignant because he knows. He already knows.
Well, yeah.
He knows that it's about Sawyer. And so
because she says they're going to kill him.
Yeah, just imagine being Jack in that situation.
Yeah,
It's like, oh God,
it.
Jack, please save the guy I'm having sex with, or whatever.
Well, they haven't done that yet. That hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, well, please save the guy that I made out with super passionately while he was being tortured or whatever.
Well, Jack doesn't know about that either.
Jack does know about that. He was there.
Oh, that's right. He saw it, yeah.
So, Jack and Sawyer are well aware that they are rivals for Kate.
Affection.
They know that. And he knows that that's why she's there. So he's like,
Yeah, and he's like, we're done in here. He's like yelling at the camera, we're done, get her out, whatever.
If I were Jack, I'd be like, man, it must be super inconvenient for all y'all that I'm the only spinal surgeon here. Like, about time for me to start making some demands. Juliet brought me a burger in here before.
Yeah,
I'm guessing there's beer somewhere, right? I'm guessing there might be a nice bed I could sleep on instead of a metal table. A bunch of jackknobs, right? And you bringing her in here to try to convince me to do surgery so that you won't kill her boyfriend. Ooh, please don't kill my rival for her affection. Please don't do that. Right? Like, just inconvenient all the way around.
And when Ben walks in and is like, you know, talk to me, Jack's like, you mind if I eat? And he eats that burger. Just does not give a shit at all about Ben or any of this. Which, of course, he doesn't.
Yeah, but think of the glee. Because, like, the situation that he's been, he's like, you mind if I have a bite? Right? Because he knows what's going on now. And he's just like, interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and, I mean, I'm sure that Ben is scared to death because he's facing his own death.
Yeah, it's mortality. And, like, you are.
And Jack's eating a burger right in front of his face.
I am so hungry right now. Like, sorry, I know this is important to you.
My neck's a little sore.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine your doctor when you were talking about life-saving surgery? It's like, you mind if I eat? And he's just eating at the same time. Think of that.
Yeah, it was great. So,
strong Jack moment. I'm a very big fan of Jack in that moment.
Yeah, me too. I was like, yeah, get it. So they put Kate back in the cage, and she's like, we gotta get the fuck out of here, because the guy who's Colleen's husband, he tells Sawyer, he's like, if you got anything to say to your little lady, you better say it tonight. Ooh. So then, as soon as they leave, Kate gets out of her cage and comes over and breaks Sawyer's lock, and she's like, run, like, let's go, we've got to go. And then Sawyer's like, damn it, shut up. And Kate's like, why are you not running? And then he breaks it to her, there's nowhere to go. He said, unless you've got a boat or you're a mermaid.
Yeah, we're on an island.
Yeah, so. We're a separate island, not our island. And they're going to know, and there's nothing. And she said, why didn't you tell me? When were you going to tell me that? And he said, never, because I wanted you to believe we had a damn chance. I was like, oh, that's, that is just a real indication of love, when somebody keeps a secret like that, and for your own protection, like,
well, just so that you don't have to share in hopelessness.
Yeah. But what's that they say about misery shared is suffering divided, or something like that?
It's misery shared is misery halved, and joy shared is joy doubled.
Yeah.
So
something like that. So, what turns you on more than knowing that, you're trapped? So they finally do the deed in front of God and everybody, all the cameras, and Ben's just sitting there watching it like some, lame Pornhub video, and he just looks dejected or whatever. But yeah, yep, it goes down. It goes down, and so then Jack sees it too, because Ben, he knows it's up.
He engineers it.
Yeah,
like,
so he
opens the door.
He
Jack's
unlocks
asleep.
the tank.
Yeah.
Jack walks in, sees Sawyer and Kate all cuddled up, and he's like, well, I'm really not gonna do it now. Like, he's really upset. So Ben comes back and he's like, so what do you think? And Jack's like, I just want to get the hell off this island. Like, whatever we got to do, I just want to get off this island. So yeah, I'll do your stupid surgery. And they say, I love you. Sawyer and Kate say, I love you to each other. So cute. Well, she doesn't say it with her mouth, but he's holding her and he goes, I love you too. I was like, yay, so cute. So now we're in the operating room. They've got the gallery with
Mr. Friendly.
Pickett, Mr. Friendly, somebody else. There were 3 of them, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Anyway, it was the guy that tries to shoot Kate. Is his name Pickett?
Pickett, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he leaves. So Mr. Friendly's the only one up there now. So he leaves, and he goes in the cage. It's raining like hell. He goes in there and roughs Sawyer up a little bit, pulls him out, puts him on his knees, and is getting ready to shoot him in the head. And Kate, of course, is like, no, please, no. And so Jack is like focused, dialed in on his surgery, and then you see a little switch, bink, tiny little incision, and then the machines start beeping and all this. And some guy who's in the operating room goes, should he be bleeding like that? And Jack goes, no, he should not. And I was like, oh, he did it. He really did it. So he tells Mr. Friendly up in the gallery, he's like, so I made a small incision in Ben's kidney sac, and if I don't stitch it up in an hour, he's dead. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring me a walkie-talkie right now. So he does. And, I mean, Pickett is literally about to shoot Jack in the head. Or Sawyer in the head. And Mr. Friendly comes over and he's like, give Kate the damn walkie-talkie. So he does. And Kate is like, freaking out. And Jack's like, do you remember that story I told you on the beach? It's like just a weird way to go into that. And she's like, yes. And then he goes, great. When you get safe, radio me and tell me that story. And then he looks up at everybody else and he goes like, get him out of here or Ben dies. And that's the end of the episode.
Well, he also tells Kate to run. She says that she can't. And,
Dang it, Kate, run. Which, love it that Miss Runner will not run. Because she's like, I don't want to leave without you. And he's like, damn it, Kate, run.
So that's the end of the episode. Since we're at the end of the recap, I hated this episode. This episode was infuriating to me. Because Kate is infuriating to me.
She is.
As I'm just like, because I am, just full disclosure, with the Jack versus Sawyer thing, I am 100% team Jack in Jack versus Sawyer. I think Sawyer is a degenerate, and I just can't get it. I can't get with it. I get very strong, like, nice guys finish last vibes or whatever in the Sawyer and Jack dichotomy. And I just, man, yuck. Right. So since I knew that was happening with Kate and Sawyer, I enjoyed like the power trip that Jack had around the, around the surgery and everything. But it's, I don't know. I when it happened on the show, I was like, oh man, this sucks. Like, this is terrible. Ugh, not a fan.
Yeah, but I was deeply surprised by the action of two of the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. They both did like the opposite of the shit that they normally do.
Well, and Kate saying that she can't leave or whatever is even more infuriating in that moment. Because, like, Jack is putting everything at risk right now to give you an opportunity to leave, right? And so she's not understanding that, like, you are ruining everything. Like, why can't you just do what you're told for a second? Like,
ain't no man gonna tell her nothing.
Yeah, ain't no man gonna tell me that I can be safe and out of here, right? Like, ain't no man gonna tell me that I'm gonna get to go live or whatever when I can stay here and die. Why would you tell me that, right? Ridiculous. I just, like, sometimes you gotta do what somebody tells you to do because they know better, right? Like, that's hard for me too sometimes. I get it, right? But when you are just told, like, you need to do this thing or whatever, it is not the end of the world. But for Kate, it really is the end of the world. Somebody is telling her directly what to do, and she says no, even though it's objectively the thing to do. Yeah. She can get both her and Sawyer out, okay? She won't go, so she is prioritizing this impulse of hers over now Sawyer's safety, who she's
she's, not wanting to leave without Jack. I get that.
Yeah, but it's utilitarianism at this point. Are you all three going to die, or can two of you live?
Well, I mean, if it was between me and some other person that you loved and, you don't have to go. There's still hope of getting, everybody out.
I'll tell you that I'm quite utilitarian in this regard. Because if you're in Jack's shoes, there are only two options. All three of us die, or two of us make it. That's it. Like, from Jack's standpoint, that is it, baby. There is not a third option. So it's like, if I were Jack, I would be beside myself. I'd be like, just stay in the cage then, right? Stay in the cage. Ben's going to die. We're all going to die. You could just go right now. You could go, but instead we're all going to die because you can't just listen. Like, where Jack's at, he has taken an enormous risk. Like, and he in his mind, I'm sure, thinks I'm definitely dying at the end of this. Because how are they going to? Because even if he stitches Ben up, they're not going to let him live.
No, because they can't trust him not to.
Exactly. He's going to
brutalize everybody. He has to do surgery on.
He's going to do this in every surgery now. Like,
yeah, he's figured it out. So, something I forgot to mention in the last episode. Locke tells Desmond, like, we're all going to the same place, and Desmond's like, well, how do you know that? And Locke tells him, the plane fell right on top of the Hydra hatch, and Desmond says, well, that's quite a coincidence. And then Locke goes, don't mistake coincidence for fate. And then he, puts his backpack on and leaves. But I thought that was a pretty good line. Because also, in this episode, Ben is talking to Jack, and he's like, fate brought you to me. Like, I have a crazy tumor on my spine, and a freaking spinal surgeon drops out of the sky. Like, that's fate. So,
Another revisiting of fate in Lost.
Yep.
Any other thoughts about this episode?
Not really.
Let's do real quick. So, messages in a bottle. There's a message I will not read because I was asked not to. But thank you for that.
I haven't read it.
Person who wrote that. And then there are comments related to it. We got a quote from the episode, our last episode, which Josh liked. Morgan. Charlie's like, I detest you, right? And Joe, Charlie's like Cockney all of a sudden. Morgan, whatever. Anyway.
That's how I have to do it most of the time. Just whatever.
Well,
whatever.
She can't do a northern British accent.
I'm not very good at accents. I pretty much can only do my own. That's all I got.
And then Kira says, when Morgan gushed about how happy she was to see Boone, that's the moment I realized she has become a true Lostie.
Yay! Yeah, I was happy to see him. I was very happy to see him. Of course, I was sad when they showed him all bloodied and mangled again. But, I was happy to see healthy, normal, well Boone.
So for the predictions for the next episode, since we're going to watch 2 and review 2 pretty much every episode, the next episode is called Not in Portland.
Okay, cool.
I mean...
Who the hell's from Portland?
No clue there. This backstory is Juliet.
Okay.
Actually, I think you're going to like it.
Okay.
So there's that, and then Flashes Before Your Eyes is the next episode.
Is that going to be Desmond?
That's Desmond. Yeah.
I am so good.
Why'd you think Desmond?
Because he, when he did the key, it was just a big blinding white light in front of his face, and he said, I love you, Penny, and he's very much living in the past, this man. Yeah,
well, and then where else do you ever hear the phrase flashes before your eyes?
When you're dying.
Yeah, your life.
Oh my God, is he going to
die? Does it say that somewhere in the episode? Because
I'm not real sure what his purpose is. I wouldn't be super upset if he died, but I'd like to know what the hell's going on with him before he dies.
I think you're going to change your tune about Desmond before the end of the series.
He was butthole to his girlfriend or whatever, but...
What?
Penny?
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. He was like, fuck you, I'm gonna go on this boat. And she was like, please don't do that. And he was like, I'm doing that.
Well, yeah, he's got that, he's got daddy issues too. But it's her daddy issues. He wants to be good enough for her, basically. And so
sailing around the world will do that.
Yeah, men are super rational when it comes to proving themselves to women.
Why don't he just eat a bunch of pies or something? Just pick something else.
All right. So any predictions you got any better idea of what's going on? Any predictions for the next little bit here?
No. Do we get to find out in either of those what is going on in the operating room?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that in mind, since we're going to find that out, I think we're going to go watch those episodes. So, thanks for being here with us, and we'll see you in another life.